Have you ever seen a headline like this? One move, 52% less sugar, and thought, there's no way something that simple could actually work. Well, stay with me for a minute, because the few minutes right after you finish eating might matter more than almost anything else you do all day, and the habit you've had your whole life, finishing a meal, and then just sitting back down, might actually be working against you without you even knowing it. Think about it. We blame the tired feeling after lunch, the sudden sugar cravings, the foggy brain in the afternoon, the slowly rising blood sugar numbers, on just getting older. That's what most people believe. But there's one piece of this puzzle that almost nobody talks about. Your body already has its own built-in way to deal with blood sugar spikes after meals. And it comes down to one small, easy-to-ignore muscle that most people have never even heard of. Here's the part that sounds hard to believe. In a real study, when people activated this one muscle in a simple way right after eating, their blood sugar spike dropped by up to 52%. Compared to just sitting still, that's a huge number for something so simple. Now, before you get too excited, let me be honest with you, this is not a magic cure. It will not replace your medicine if you're on one, and it's not a free pass to eat whatever you want, whenever you want. But what this research shows about those few minutes right after a meal could genuinely change a habit you've followed for years, without ever questioning it. So stay with me till the end, because after this video, you may never want to sit still right after a meal again. Before we reveal the surprising movement, it's important to understand exactly what we're trying to prevent. Every time you eat foods containing carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream and gives your body energy. That's completely normal. The problem begins when that glucose rises too high and too quickly, creating what's known as a blood sugar spike. When this happens occasionally, your body can usually handle it. But when it happens meal after meal, day after day, and year after year, especially as we get older, the effects can slowly add up. Those repeated spikes place extra stress on your blood vessels, force your pancreas to release larger amounts of insulin, and over time, may make your body's cells less responsive to that insulin. This gradual process is one of the reasons many people eventually develop insulin resistance. And for some, type 2 diabetes, but the consequences don't stop there. Frequent blood sugar spikes have also been linked to feeling unusually tired after meals, afternoon energy crashes, brain fog, stronger cravings for sweets, and over the long term, they can contribute to damage affecting your heart, kidneys, eyes, and nerves. That's why simply treating high blood sugar as just another part of getting older can be a costly mistake. But here's where today's story takes an unexpected turn. What if your body already has a built-in backup system for dealing with some of that extra glucose? One that doesn't rely entirely on insulin, and what if activating that system takes far less effort than you might imagine? The answer lies in something your muscles can do that most people have never been told about. And understanding this one hidden ability could completely change the way you think about what happens in the minutes after every meal. Now here's the fascinating part that researchers wanted to investigate. Your body has an incredible ability that most people never hear about. Normally, when glucose enters your bloodstream after a meal, your body depends heavily on insulin to move that sugar out of the blood and into your cells, where it can be used for energy. You can think of insulin as a key that unlocks the door to let glucose inside. But your muscles have another remarkable trick. Whenever a muscle contracts, even with gentle movement, it can pull glucose from the bloodstream through a different pathway that relies much less on insulin. In other words, simply getting the right muscles working after a meal can help your body clear some of that extra sugar naturally. This is one of the reasons healthcare professionals often encourage regular physical activity for blood sugar management. But researchers wondered something even more interesting. Was there a particular muscle that could do this especially well, without requiring a strenuous workout? Their attention turned to a small, often overlooked muscle, deep in the back of the lower leg, called the soleus muscle. Unlike many of the larger muscles that tire quickly during exercise, the soleus is designed for endurance. It helps keep you standing, supports your posture, and is built to work continuously. for long periods without becoming exhausted. Even more interesting, it prefers using glucose and fat circulating in your bloodstream as fuel instead of relying mainly on its own stored energy. That unique characteristic made scientists wonder whether gently activating this muscle after eating could help reduce post-meal blood sugar. In a carefully controlled study, researchers asked participants to perform a simple seated movement that repeatedly activated the soleus muscle after consuming a glucose drink. Compared with sitting completely still, participants experienced post-meal blood sugar levels that were up to 52% lower under the study conditions, while their insulin response was also significantly reduced. Those findings attracted worldwide attention. But before you think this tiny muscle is some kind of miracle solution, there's something extremely important you need to understand. The real lesson from this research isn't just about one hidden muscle, it's about the remarkable power of movement itself. And once you see the simple movement the researchers used, you'll understand why it has generated so much interest. So, what exactly was the movement the researchers used? Surprisingly, it wasn't an intense workout, a long walk, or hours at the gym. It was a simple seated heel raise, designed to activate the soleus muscle. To do it, sit comfortably, with the balls of your feet resting on the floor. Keep the front of your feet in contact with the ground. Then slowly lift your heels as high as you comfortably can, before lowering them back down in a smooth, controlled motion. Repeat this movement continuously, at a gentle, steady pace, for several minutes after finishing a meal. It may not look impressive, and because it's so simple, many people dismiss it before they ever try it. But that's exactly what makes it so interesting. The goal isn't to move fast or to build muscle. It's to keep the soleus muscle gently contracting so it can continue drawing glucose from the bloodstream. If walking after a meal is comfortable and safe for you, that remains one of the best supported ways to help your body manage blood sugar, because it engages many muscles throughout your body and provides additional health benefits. But for people who have difficulty walking, are recovering from an illness, have limited mobility, or simply can't get outside after every meal, this gentle seated movement may be a practical alternative to remaining completely still. The key is consistency rather than intensity. Doing a few controlled heel raises after meals is far more likely to help than rushing through them for a minute and then sitting motionless for the rest of the evening. But before you decide to make this part of your daily routine, there's one important question that needs to be answered. Is this simple movement safe for everyone, or are there situations where extra caution is needed? That's what we'll cover next. Because knowing who should and shouldn't do this is just as important as knowing how to do it. Before you try this movement after every meal, there's something I want to make absolutely clear. Although seated heel raises are generally considered a gentle, low-impact activity, for many people, they are not the right choice for everyone. If you have severe pain in your feet or calves, a recent leg, ankle, or foot injury, have recently had surgery, or have been told by your healthcare provider to limit movement in your lower limbs, it's important to check with them before starting any new exercise routine. The same applies if you experience severe balance problems, significant swelling, or poor circulation that hasn't been evaluated. And if you feel sharp pain, dizziness, or unusual discomfort while doing the movement, stop immediately and seek medical advice. If symptoms persist, it's also important to remember what this study actually showed and what it didn't. The research was conducted under controlled conditions. To better understand how muscle activity affects blood sugar, it does not prove that seated heel raises can replace a healthy diet, regular exercise, prescribed medication, or treatment for diabetes. If you have diabetes or take medications that lower blood sugar, never change or stop your treatment based on this exercise alone. Instead, think of this movement as one possible tool that may support your overall blood sugar management. When combined with the healthy habits your healthcare provider recommends, in fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is searching for a single miracle solution Real improvements usually come from combining several small habits, eating balanced meals, staying physically active, getting enough sleep, taking medications as prescribed, and finding simple ways to move more throughout the day. And that's exactly why the most valuable lesson from this study has very little to do with one calf muscle. The real message is much bigger, and once you understand it, you'll see why. Even small moments of movement after meals can have a surprisingly powerful impact. Over the years, if there's one thing this research should change, it's not that you start obsessing over one specific muscle, it's the way you think about movement itself. The soleus muscle simply helps scientists demonstrate a much bigger principle. Your muscles are one of the body's most powerful tools. For managing blood sugar, every time your muscles contract, they use energy, and in doing so, they help remove glucose from your bloodstream. That means the goal isn't to find one magical exercise. The goal is to give your muscles more opportunities to do the job they were designed to do. Imagine the difference between finishing a meal and sinking into the couch for the next 2 hours versus spending just 10 or 15 minutes walking, doing light housework, gardening, standing while talking on the phone, or even performing gentle heel raises. If walking isn't possible, those small choices may seem insignificant on a single day, but over months and years, they can add up to meaningful improvements in your overall health. This becomes even more important as we age, because we naturally begin to lose muscle mass, a process known as sarcopenia. With less muscle available, the body has fewer places to use glucose efficiently, making it even more important to preserve the muscle we have and keep it active. That's why many people who stay gently active throughout the day often enjoy better mobility, steadier energy, and healthier blood sugar than those who spend long hours sitting, even if they don't consider themselves exercise enthusiasts. So instead of asking yourself, what's the one perfect exercise? Try asking a different question. How can I move a little more after each meal? That simple shift in mindset may do far more for your long-term health than chasing the next miracle trick. And before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought that could completely change the way you look at every meal you eat from this day forward. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one thought that may stay with you long after this video is over. High blood sugar doesn't usually cause serious problems overnight. It's the small spikes that happen after breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, repeated hundreds or even thousands of times over the years, that quietly take their toll. The encouraging news is that small, healthy choices can work the same way. A few minutes of movement after each meal may not seem life-changing today, but those moments can add up over months and years, helping to support healthier blood sugar, better energy, and a more active life. Remember, this isn't about chasing miracle cures or believing that one exercise can solve everything. It's about understanding how amazingly your body is designed to respond to movement and using that knowledge to your advantage, whether it's taking a short walk, doing gentle heel raises, or simply avoiding long periods of sitting after meals. Every bit of movement gives your muscles another chance to help your body manage blood sugar more effectively. The habits that protect your health rarely feel dramatic in the moment, but they're often the ones that make the biggest difference over time. And before you go, I have another video that I think you'll find just as valuable. If you've ever wondered why your skin seems drier, thinner, or more wrinkled as you've gotten older, even if you drink plenty of water every day, you might be surprised to learn that water alone isn't always the answer. In that video, add this to water. For smoother skin and fewer wrinkles after 60, I explain, one simple addition that may help support better hydration and healthier looking skin along with the science behind why it matters as we age. If you care about staying healthy, both inside and out, I think you'll really enjoy it. Just click the video that's appearing on your screen now, and I'll see you there.